So, I bought an E46. Now, I got this one at a crazy good price. The guy that posted this on Facebook Marketplace, I happened to be in the area, like right as he posted it, and I was the first person to look at it, and it looked pretty good, so I just said, yeah, I want it. And we're gonna be turning it into a drift car. So let's talk about what this car has already. It's a 323 Ci, so it's a two-door, 2.5 litre 6-cylinder, which doesn't make a lot of power, but it's actually a pretty good engine that's been detuned by BMW. So getting a tune that we're gonna put on it can actually give us more power for really, really cheap. And it's a really reliable engine that's gonna handle the abuse that we give it while drifting. And it's a factory manual, of course. The other thing is this car actually looks to be in pretty good condition. The interior needs a little bit of work. The exterior looks pretty good, if not just a little boring because of, you know, things like this and the stock bumper. But it's in pretty good condition and it's a really good base for me to make a drift car out of. I've been looking at BMWs for a while and I was actually looking at getting a 36 instead of the 46. But when this came up for $2.5 grand, I jumped on the opportunity to get this car. It's an absolute steal. I haven't seen a manual for under like 8 grand in a long time. So to get this for 2.5 is just ridiculous. And the best part is it actually runs. Just there's a slight misfire that we're gonna try and fix. So it doesn't sound great, that kind of lumpy sound, that's because it's misfiring. So we're gonna replace the ECU, BMW calls that a DME, but we're gonna replace the ECU because supposedly it's been diagnosed by a mechanic that the previous owner took it to. I got a new one from Gresham that's got a tune on it that should give us a bit of extra power while we're in there. Let's see how it goes. All right, so that's a bit of a bummer. It seems like the misfire is still happening, so we're gonna replace the sparks and coils next. All right, so we gotta take the engine covers off to get to the coils and sparks. So that's all the coil packs there. So pretty easy to access. We're just gonna replace them all so that we start fresh because we don't know how long these have been on and I just want the car running well. And it's not too hard to do all at once. So now I'm gonna get the others all done and then we'll come back to the car running and see if that fixes the problem. There's just one more thing we gotta do. Now my heart was really set on an E36 for my drift car, but just because they're really expensive, I didn't end up actually going with one. A 318 IS, which is a 4-cylinder that makes, I don't know, maybe 140 horsepower max, in not great condition, it cost about 4 grand, which I got this car for $2,500, which is an absolutely great price for what I've got. There's one other reason why I'm really excited to have this car. When I was probably 6 or 7, I played Need for Speed Most Wanted for the first time. It was my first racing game, and the BMW M3 GTR was the car of the game. Like, you got it at the start and then you lose it because it runs out of oil because it's a BMW.
Hey, there's something wrong with your ride. You left a huge oil slick at the start line.
That car was just so cool to me. Like, I always wanted that car specifically. I didn't know what car it was, so I just called it a BMW, but I always wanted that car. And to have it now it's kind of like a childhood dream come true. So I'm very excited to see where this drift build goes. Make sure you follow us along and subscribe and get keen because the next video is going to be drifting this thing at a skid pan and seeing how that goes. But until then, thanks for watching.